Welcome back to our Uncommon Student Presentations. We will continue this morning's session with Wesley Hanson. He lives in LaPorte City, attends Union High School, and is the son of Margaret, Maureen, and Robert Hanson. His project is STEM of New Opportunities for Youth.
Good morning. I'm Wes Hanson, as she said, and the name of my project is STEM of New Opportunities for Youth. I'm from Union High School in LaPorte City. So my goals with this project were to provide a fun environment for kids to learn about STEM, and that is makerspaces, introduce young students to STEM-related careers and activities that they might not otherwise get exposed to, implement an FLL Junior Team at the elementary level, and continue to grow the first robotics team that I helped to found at the high school level. So when most people think of STEM, Herbert Hoover probably doesn't come to mind. I mean, he lived long before the ideas of STEM and first robotics came into existence. But really, Herbert Hoover was involved in STEM in his own way. He was a mining engineer as a young man, and that obviously falls under the realm of STEM. And he valued the power of knowledge, and that's evident in his founding of the Hoover Institution, which is a think tank that studies public policy. So STEM is an acronym that stands for Science, Technology, Engineering, and Math. And STEM really is the future of the workplace. In today's day and age, a lot of our labor is being replaced by automation, and with that comes the need for workers that are skilled in areas such as coding, engineering, and all the other things that make these automated industries click. And I mean, despite that, STEM is really more than math and science. I mean, it does emphasize science, technology, engineering, and math, but it does incorporate aspects like art and public speaking and other skills that you're going to be able to apply in all aspects of life. So Union Community Schools are located in a rural area. They have 1,126 students enrolled, and to date, Union Community Schools have had some limited STEM programs, and that's due to the fact that we're a smaller school district, so we have less funding than the larger school districts. But the administration has been doing a great job of trying to push that forward and develop more STEM programs at the school, and one of the ways that that's been accomplished is through the implementation of various FIRST programs. So FIRST is an organization, and its name is actually an acronym that stands for the Inspiration and Recognition of Science and Technology. And it is first and foremost an after-school robotics program. But the FIRST program really does a great job of emphasizing that their program is about more than the robot, and that's a tagline throughout the entire program. And that really means that although it is an after-school robotics program, there are a whole bunch of other aspects besides the robot, such as business teams that do marketing and branding, and students that have to write an engineering notebook that details their thought processes. So FIRST is made up of 4 different programs. The first is FLL Junior, which is a program at the elementary level, and that's the one that I've been trying to implement at my local elementary school. Next up is FIRST Lego League, and that's the program that I actually got my start in. That's the middle school level program. After that, there's an intermediary program between FIRST Lego League and FIRST Robotics Competition, and that's FIRST Tech Challenge. And the highest level in the first set is FIRST Robotics Competition, and that is the program that I helped to found at my high school. So overall, the impact of FIRST is extremely noticeable throughout their existence. Students are 2 times more likely to major in science or engineering. 98% of students reported improved problem-solving skills. 93% reported increased conflict resolution skills. 78% reported increased communication skills. Students are 50% more likely to attend college for a wide assortment of majors, so not just engineering, that can apply to anything. I know there's one student on our team that is actually looking into going into mass media and communications. He was on the business team, and he found his calling there. And overall, FIRST builds self-confidence and self-respect in all students, and it encourages the values of cooperation and teamwork. So my experience with FIRST, as I said, started in middle school with the FLL program, And coming into middle school, I just come out of elementary school, and I was kind of your generic student. I didn't want to go to school, didn't want to learn, just wanted to stay home and play with my dog. And so I mean, I got to middle school, and I really hadn't experienced what it's like to actually enjoy learning until I joined the FLL program. And I mean, after I joined the FLL program, it really opened my eyes to how much fun it can be to actually learn new things. And so from there, I joined the FTC program coming into high school. And after about my second year of that, I still felt like I was missing something because I mean, I was building robots and I was having fun and I was learning, but it felt like there was more to be tapped into. And so then I actually had the experience to go down to the Worlds competition in St. Louis with my FTC mentor. And there, I mean, I had planned to go and watch the FTC competition, but I actually ended up spending more time with the FRC competition because, I mean, the energy in the room was just electric when I went in there, and it was so much fun. And so, I mean, that really got me excited about the FRC program. And so after that, I approached my mentor, and he and I together worked to found the FRC program at my high school. And so, I mean, that really provided a lot of valuable learning experiences for me. First was the experience of, as I said, I went to the World competition that year, and then the next year started the team, and my team was actually able to attend the World competition as a contender. So, I mean, it was really cool to go full circle and start off as a participant, or start off as an observer and come back as a participant. Another experience that I had was I was involved in the National Advocacy Conference, which is a program provided by FIRST that invites teams to meet in Washington, D.C. and advocate for FIRST and STEM curriculum at the national level to Congress. So that was an awesome experience for me to develop some public speaking skills and also learn more about the government and what I can do to influence lawmaking and such. And overall, FIRST has really just shaped my vision for the future because in the past, I'd always all I had seen in my rural community was farming and agriculture. And so it really opened my eyes to the fact that there's a lot more out there than agriculture. And I really it's shaped what I plan to do with my future. So my first step for expanding STEM and FIRST at Union was to obtain a grant for makerspace materials through the Iowa Scale Up Initiative. And this was I was helped to do this by my technology advisor at the high school. And so the Iowa Scale Up Initiative is a program designed to improve STEM curriculum throughout the state of Iowa. And we're really lucky to have this type of program in Iowa because there's a lot of other states that the state just doesn't recognize the value. And so after that, I met with various administrative employees, namely the principal of the elementary school, and we were able to designate a time and place for these materials to be used. And then the materials were distributed to both elementaries in the school district. So next, I met with a local FIRST leader to discuss the logistics of starting an FLL Junior Team, and that was really helpful because I really didn't have much experience with the younger side of younger students and starting the lower level teams, and so she provided a lot of really valuable insight. And then I spoke with various teachers about involvement in FLL Junior and started to find people that might be willing to mentor. And then after that, I started investigating different grants that we could apply for, namely the John Deere grant, which the amount of money offered there is enough that I think it could support the program for several years. Unfortunately, since we're not registered with FIRST yet, I'm not eligible to apply for that yet. So that is on our to-do list for the future. So the other part of my project would be just general promotion of STEM and FIRST throughout the school district. And one of the ways that I did that was the board that you can see over here. It was a project actually originally for 4-H that I took to the county fair, but then I realized that it had potential to be used throughout the year in the school district and at different various events, such as STEM fairs that we attended as a robotics team. And we actually presented this to the incoming freshmen to get them excited about STEM and FIRST in our schools. And then another exciting sort of opportunity that I didn't really expect was that after I announced my project and my plans to expand STEM, I was approached by several teachers. The first was Mrs. Caton, who approached me to ask about how she could start to implement more STEM curriculum in her classroom, which I was really excited about because, it really felt like I was making an impact in the schools. And the second was Angie Bechtold, who had received a STEM kit from the AEA that she had no idea how to use. And so she approached me and she asked, Wesley, can you help me to figure this out? And that was kind of a cool experience because she was actually one of my 5th grade teachers. So I mean, to be able to come back and teach the teacher was kind of awesome. So the ideas of STEM and FIRST, I feel like really do continue Hoover's legacy. As I said before, Hoover was a mining engineer. So I mean, being able to promote STEM and help people follow in the same path as Hoover was a really cool experience. And as a person, he valued hard work and ingenuity, which is the same values that FIRST and STEM really support. And Herbert wasn't the only one that had relations to STEM and FIRST. Lou Henry was heavily involved with after-school groups like the Girl Scouts, and FIRST especially really values the same sort of traits that the Girl Scouts also put high value on. And both of the Hoovers really saw the need for progress in the world and tried to push the nation in the right direction. So in closing, I'd like to really recognize that projects like these do take people. The first very special people would obviously be the teachers, who without the teachers we wouldn't be able to apply any of this curriculum into our schools and we wouldn't be able to distribute these materials. So teachers like Angie Bechtold and Mrs. Caton are really important because they're the ones that are willing to go out of their way to find ways to implement new curriculum for their students. Next would be the administrators, who really work hard to make sure that this stuff gets distributed to the teachers. So people like Mr. Caton and Mr. Fleshner. Next would be my parents, who have been super supportive throughout this whole process, and I'm really grateful for that. And finally would be the mentors, like Craig Pitts, who really shaped me and molded me to become the person that is able to do these types of things. And I really I strive to be just like these 4 types of people and be able to change the lives of others around me. Are there any questions?
So this has been implemented in your grade school, I understand?
Yes.
And so how do you continue to expand it? I thought I heard you said 2 teachers are using it right now?
Yeah, so 2 teachers that I know have approached me about expanding STEM in their classroom, and I have seen that a lot of the other teachers at the elementary level are employing some more hands-on learning and STEM-based learning. So moving on from here, I'd just like to see more of the teachers being able to implement the resources that we obtained through the Scale Up initiative to use them in their classrooms.
As a follow-up question, how are you going to help facilitate that?
Yeah, so I've been working with my tech administrator to help to distribute those materials to the teachers and teach them how to use them like I did with Angie Gray and show them ways that they can effectively use them in the classroom.
Do you work with the students yourself?
Yes, I plan to, when the FLL Junior season starts, I plan to be involved with the team, and also Angie Bechtold has indicated that she'd like to have me come and present her STEM kit that I helped her figure out to the students, and I'd be really excited to do that.
Better. So the first programs are fantastic. I went to the Super Regionals competition in Cedar Rapids last spring in support of a West High team that was competing, and I'm with you. It's challenging. It's multidisciplinary. It's really a fantastic program. Question for you: in some of the materials that you presented, you talked about a STEM collaboration council, and I'd like to hear more about what you're doing with that, because I think that is a really interesting idea for implementing and maintaining STEM in a district.
Yes, I actually forgot to mention that. That is part of my project as well, is making sure that the FIRST programs that are in use in the school district are communicating with each other. So in the future, I'm hoping to have designated times that these programs can all meet together and discuss what they're doing with each other and really share ideas, because I feel like a lot of the creativity that we have at the lower levels gets lost as we move up. So I mean, the FRC level students might not have some of the creative, wacky ideas that the FLL Junior students might. And so, I mean, I think all of these programs can really learn from each other and interact to improve themselves.
And thank you. One other question around maker spaces. It sounds like you were working to convert some classroom space and turn them into maker space. And I was curious what the kids' response has been to that, going into those manipulables and doing stuff in a makerspace.
Yeah, so from what I've seen, the kids are really excited to learn learn new curriculum, because I know when I was a student, reading out of a book and learning all this science and technology out of a book wasn't all that exciting. And I mean, Angie was telling me about all the stuff that she's implementing in her classroom, and it seems like it's a really great way for them to learn hands-on as opposed to just getting it fed to them. So I'm really excited to see how that can develop.
I think it's great you're teaching the teacher and teaching your peers in interacting with some of the other students across the state on these teams. Is this a unique situation that you have a student that's actually involved at that level? Or is this something that's indicative of STEM?
Well, actually, I've met a lot of different students through FIRST and STEM programs, especially at the National Advocacy Conference that I went to, that they really do, a lot of these students are capable of the same things that I was trying to do at the elementary level. And I mean, these students are really impressive in what they can accomplish, and I think that is really indicative of what FIRST teaches them at the lowest level up to the highest level.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.